Hello everybody. Here we are. We're going to be working on Dobbers hats. It's this one of the stalls that I'm going to use in the park. So I'm trying to create some of these little shops so I can save them to my workbench, and then I can bring them in other parks without having to redo them all. But here I'm working on the one I'm making for Dobbers. Then I'm going to change the list or the menu by you click on the stall, then you go over to menu, and you can either turn them off or turn them on, or you can even rename them. And that's what I did with Kaite Witch Cookies. So I brought up a stall that would kind of resemble maybe the cookies, and then I went in and I changed the menu, the menu. And so they became Kaite Witch, Dobbers, and Sergeant Bones. There's just 3 cookies that she sells at her stand. All made of gingerbread, of course. So I wanted to stall for Dobbers, and I was trying to figure out, okay, what can we? And I figured, hey, let's do a hat. And then they can sell like the wizard hat. So I created this little building. I got to have a nether portal. So that's what I was trying to create, something similar to that, kind of like a little scene, maybe that you see Minecraft with Dobbers, Kaite Witch, and Sergeant Bones, which I will be working on. I'll be working on Sergeant Bones' ChowHall. I'm going to have a couple stalls in there for hamburgers, the hot dog, and then there'll be one that sells the different stuff. So, and then I got table set up inside there, and I got that already saved. I'm going to bring that in, and we'll be looking at that in a bit. But this is just something I kind of threw together. I'm working on my clipboard park, trying to come up with some ideas. So you can see the Dobbers hats there in the background. So I just created this little item here using, like I said, I was trying to create a portal, like the nether portal, so that when I'm on Minecraft, I can go through that portal, and I can have this portal where they come up on this portal. So I can kind of do something like that. I need to work on Kaite Witch's shop, create that, and then bring that in. And like I said, I got the ChowHall done, but I'm going to have to bring it in, and then I'm going to have to redo it once I bring it into the new park. As it's just the building, it's just the shell. So I'd have to put in the pathway, and then put it in on the pathway there where the stalls were, or shops and stuff connect to the pathway. And that's what I was doing. Here we go. Here's the ChowHall. Now, I'm working on this because of a friend of mine. He kind of showed me and explained to me how to use the stamp tool for the pathways. And it's just like, wow, what a difference. So I can lay up that pathway, and I have that saved, the building itself, have it saved to my workbench, so I could bring that in, but then I'll have to add all the different chops and stuff to it. But that's be the ChowHall. Dobbers has the hats, and now I'm going to go in, I'm going to create the actual shop for Kaite Witch Cookies. I do have a shop already in the menu, so I can bring that in, and then I just got to build the structure around it. And we'll be doing something on that once I get the ChowHall. And then see, all this is on my other clipboard park, so I can go in and grab some of this stuff, bring it into my original park, and continue with the castle, which kind of lends itself to Minecraft in a way. So we're going to look at that and see what we can do there. I'd probably bring in a couple of my favorite rides. The flat rides, I like the hammer. when I went on. It was called a hammer, the tilt-a-whirl, and then I'm trying to think there's another one too. I can't think of it. But there's a couple of them that are just my favorite ride when I was a kid, and I like bringing them into the park and putting them in. Oh, here I'm going. Figuring out how to attach these to these different automated tools. Right now I'm trying to connect this here Sergeant Bones to this little outfit here, so it creates the three, Kaite Witch, Dobbers, and then Sergeant Bones. So those are, excuse me, those are the three characters. I do have actual Minecraft worlds I got them in, and I'll go back in here and play a little bit. I'm trying to create a couple of bases, a couple of spots for these. I have Sergeant Bones, he's got his place, Dobbers, and then Kaite Witch has theirs. Plus on my PlayStation downstairs, I found the old compound for Sergeant Bones and Kaite Witch Cookies. And there I have the statues there. I do have a ship that I have built that's in the harbor, and I might go back and work on that. I'm going to move my my PlayStation 5 and my 4 downstairs. I'm going to switch them around so that when I'm working with the PlayStation 5, I can use the recliner instead of trying to. It'll be a little easier to lay back and put my feet up for a bit while I'm working on some of this stuff, or just reviewing it. Because that's a lot of the time taken when you're putting this stuff together, is reviewing clip after clip, going, oh, okay, I can use that one. Oh, that one's all good. That's what I'm using here, is a lot of that stuff I've captured while I was actually building. And here's there's Dobbers, all right. The living actors playing Dobbers. It's what's been that? Well, this Dobbers has white hair, but the idea, like I said, the idea with Dobbers is, back a long time ago, they were on an adventure. Kaite Witch saved his life by keeping him. She cast a spell on him, and it kind of keeps him in between living and dying, the dead. So he's kind of like a ghost. So that's why he's kind of pale, and that's Dobbers. And like I said, Kaite Witch cast a spell on him, and it keeps him alive, and that's part of the team that kind of I created. Here we go. And looking pretty good. So I do have a couple of stalls in there. There's a hamburger stall, there's a hot dog stall, and then there's a that sells other sandwiches and different things and stuff you can get. And it's kind of like an actual ChowHall. I was in the Air Force, and I'd been through many different ChowHalls, and it's kind of like, yeah, there's a main line where you go and get whatever they're serving for lunch or dinner or breakfast. And then there was another short line, what they call the short line, because it had hamburgers and hot dogs, fries and stuff like that for those that didn't want an actual sit-down meal. So you could grab that, or you could sit down with them, or you could take it to go. It's a lot of them would come through the ChowHall on their lunch break, but they couldn't stay. They had to get back to work, so they grab something to go and get back to work. Or you could come in and get your food and then go sit down, you eat, and you go back to whatever it is you're doing. If it was your day off, you could come in civilian clothes. Or if you're working, they usually serve 3 meals a day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then there was also a midnight where they cook stuff up. And usually, like I said, it was a short line. They had hot dogs and stuff like that. Oh, shrimp flip. All right, good job, everybody. Good job. print and post. Put it in a can and on the shelf. For me, ELAstudio, son. Phyled, OelGrez, Gwinn and Taz. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following. Slide this down.